As a horror fanatic, the bar is set extremely high when it comes to horror games, especially when you have your third eye open and you can see these things all the time. It's not really anything new. Then along comes 2014 when I finally found what I was looking for. The video game franchise Five Nights at Freddy's by Scott Cawthon. Yes, a lot of people will consider me edgy and unhinged for the amount of gore and violence I can handle, especially as a preteen. When you spend the majority of your life being able to see ghosts, you tend to desensitize yourself with anything that has to do with extremely fucked up depictions of gore and violence. I am literally like a junkie when it comes to horror. To me, the FNAF series will always be considered similar to that of a vape. I mean, you will obviously not get the full hit, but it's better than nothing. I think I'm inclined to actually tell you guys exactly why I enjoy playing the OG Five Nights at Freddy's games. So without further delay, let's just get into the video. I just want to let you know that this video doesn't really speak for the entire FNAF community, it's just my take on the franchise. But yes, I have a very high standard when it comes to horror games. Now I know I might be asking a lot, but really, none of the other horror games have thus far actually managed to startle me yet. It goes without saying, animatronics, especially the vintage animatronics, are fucking terrifying. Projecting that uncanny value, which I think that's what Scott was going for when he designed the animatronics for the original FNAF game. And even I, of all people, a true seasoned horror fanatic, found myself slightly unsettled by the animatronic. To give you guys an idea of how much a feat that is, I'm actually not fazed by the Disney animatronics. I think my favorite Fazbear animatronic would probably be the original and the withered ones, because I just feel like they have the most uncanny value. Coupled with the way they actually move whenever you're not looking at it, and the way Freddy Fazbear actually, you know, plays that song before he attacks you by the time you lose power. Holy shit. I'm so fucked, 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 I'm so fucked.
No,
Oh
there's
god.
just no way. There is just no way.
Okay, I probably
just
shouldn't
bad
have,
at the
you know,
game.
fucked with
Oh
the
my
doors.
God.
I should. Oh, yeah, you know what?
Bro, you're fucked.
Wow.
You're
Yep, I'm
fucked.
so
Like, just
dead.
accept
Why did
it,
I
Bunty.
fuck
You're
with the
fucked.
doors? Why did I fuck
Honestly,
with the
you're
doors?
just
Why the
fucked at
fuck
this
did I
point.
just
Yep.
fuck with the
Yep,
doors?
you know
I'm
what?
so
Just accept
fucking
your fate.
stupid.
R.I.P.
Just kill me,
quarantine,
Freddy.
first night.
Who would have thought the Theodore March song would be so fucking unsettling? It really brings out a sense of dread whenever you hear it. Further adding to the unease and dread is the atmosphere. The atmosphere is extremely ominous. This is why I enjoy playing the original Five Nights at Freddy's games. It's that ominous feeling and the sense of dread that makes it so much fun and just so exhilarating to play. Well, the majority of the game consists of jump scares, being that the animatronics will run at you, leap into your face, and start screaming bloody murder. You might be wondering, wait, there's no gore. Well, that's the thing. The gore isn't in the gameplay, it's in the lore. What makes the lore so compelling is how fucked up some of the plot points are. I mean, the death of Elizabeth Afton, who was literally dragged into a circus, baby. The Bite of 83, which involves Evan Afton getting crushed to death by Fredbear. Then there's the Bite of 87, and also the various Springlock failures, including the most infamous one, chased into the corner by the very spirits of the children he murdered. William Afton is forced to put on that very suit he used to slaughter those children, not taking into account how run down the place is. It only takes one drop of water to set off the Springlocks, with the pieces of the endoskeleton snapping back into place, impaling and eviscerating his body. His victims disapparate, mocking him as he's left to bleed out, trapped in his spring Bonnie suit, a tortured victim of his own creation. The sweet fucking irony. Oh, and the child murder. The child murder is rampant. I mean, this is just unprecedented how much children actually die in this game. And then we move on to ghosts. I love the supernatural aspects of FNAF, especially when they talk about Remnant. Remnant in the FNAF universe is where a spirit is attached to an inanimate object, giving the object life, which is surprisingly accurate. I mean, ghosts have the ability to attach themselves to objects, as well as demons. such as Annabelle, the Devil's Rocking Chair. Pretty much anything that has to do with the occult will have something like this attached to them. It's this little details that I, being a psychic and someone who is interested in the supernatural and the occult, finds extremely relatable about the situation. Everything just comes together when you actually find the missing children posters and you realize what exactly is going on. These animatronics, they have the consciousness of children. Turns out we found the missing children all along. I mean, I genuinely sympathize with them, especially Charlotte Emily. I mean, you can really feel how much pain they're going through. They literally remind me of the Onryo from Japan. They're scared, they're confused, they're desperately trying to find a way to gain closure, to move on, seeking justice against William Afton. And what makes it so scary, you really step into the shoes of Michael Afton. It really comes down to mistaken identity. During that time, Michael really looked like his father. Knowing this, the tension just ramps up like tenfold. Oh, and in Sister Location, Michael actually dies horribly, so yeah. Sister Location is actually kind of a prequel, but yeah. Who would have thought a pizzeria would have such a dark history? Don't get me wrong, I love the lore. The lore is extremely vast, but if I was to actually get into it and actually talk about the entire lore, I'm gonna be here all day. Again, this video is merely my take. If you want to see a full lore video, go look at the other YouTube channels that are doing this type of stuff. Encased in an animatronic suit, still locked in a state of absolute decay, with his research keeping him alive in an agonizing, torturous limbo. No antagonist of any horror game has ever put such an impact on my life than the man behind the slaughter himself, William Afton, also known as Springtrap. No, 15, I'm aware that this is your guy. I'll shout you out later, okay? So, no, what are you doing? No, don't make a video saying that I plagiarized you, because what I'm doing is clearly transformative, okay? Wait your turn, let me finish my fucking sentence, okay? Thank you! I would consider William Afton a Freddy Krueger type character. He murders children. After murdering a bunch of children, William Afton again gets his excruciating comeuppance. But that makes him become something worse. Much, much worse. I mean, what's not to love about the design? The decaying spring bonding suit with the rotting corpse inside? He is the closest you'll ever get in this gaming franchise to a slasher villain. William Afton, the deranged serial killer, is as stubborn as they come. No matter what you do in order to try and kill him, he always comes back. Five Nights at Freddy's has actually put a tremendous and positive impact in my life. I, like many other fans back in 2014, has nothing but positive experiences for the original Five Nights at Freddy's games. This is one of the few gaming franchises that actually makes jump scares work, that actually makes them terrifying. You can only imagine the amount of suspense and tension I actually had playing the games the first time.
My third night in FNAF 2014.
Oh, hey, you're doing great. Most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I'm not implying that they died. That's not...
You know you're doing something right when you constantly have me on edge for the majority of the gameplay. A lot of people shares the same sentiment I do with the old FNAF games. Theft King, one of the first people to actually do FNAF-orientated content. Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, pretty much anybody or any YouTuber that does FNAF games. Then there's the Fanverse Initiative, which encourages game developers to make their own games based on the formula presented by FNAF. This actually helped me get a lot of views back when I had my Black Saber Predator channel. Some of these games actually managed to startle me the same way the original Five Nights at Freddy's games did. Moving on to the FNAF VSH tapes. For example, from Baddington. Well, these videos are fucking terrifying, even for me, a seasoned horror fanatic. I mean, like, crikey! I constantly have to watch me back every 5 fucking minutes so I don't get blindsided and raped to death by, I don't know, a fucking kuntilanak or something. Like, holy shit! Fucking talented guy, hey. Almost shat me self. In fact, the VSH tapes are probably my favorite fan-made Five Nights at Freddy's content. Both Spectre and Baddington has taken the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom back to its horror roots. That's the ancestral roots for the FNAF franchise. It will and will always be a horror-related franchise, in which I'm so glad there are some people who hasn't forgotten where exactly this franchise came from. It really warms my heart to have the shit scared out of me constantly with very good quality fan-made stuff. I mean, this is perfect. This is some Mandela catalog shit. This is awesome. And even if it was actually meant to be just a cheesy indie horror game, Five Nights at Freddy's has potential to be a fully fledged analog horror franchise. I can definitely respect the creativity for some people, in which I will actually credit the people who actually made these type of stuff, because it shows how vast and diverse this community is. As a matter of fact, the Five Nights at Freddy's VHS tape series deserves its own video where I actually get into the nitty-gritty on why I enjoy the series, because holy balls, I am absolutely in heaven when watching these videos. For me, and especially me, Five Nights at Freddy's made me whole. It really goes to show the dedication of some people regarding indie horror games. It really goes to show that sometimes criticism can be the catalyst for amazing things. Scott Cawthon is and always will be one of the greatest game developers of all time. But that saying, he's been through a lot. And unfortunately, that past has led Twitter to use him as a personal punching bag. Not only putting him at risk, but also his family. Fucking typical SJW Twitter shit. And Scott, being someone who puts so much positivity within the FNAF community, did not deserve the bulk of any of this, regardless of political opinion. Imagine doxing someone over a few donations, you sick fucks. Now, I should have been there the day he was actually cancelled, but still, I will still support Scott Cawthon. I will still openly praise him online, much to the chagrin and dismay of the SJWs. You know why? Because my words alone is testament to the centuries-old values of filial piety my ancestors shared since the beginning of our civilization. It really doesn't fucking get more deeper than this. With the news that there will be a actual movie adaptation of Five Nights at Freddy's, in which will be the final FNAF production Scott Cawthon will ever do in his life, bringing this entire franchise full circle. My entire childhood, and that of many other people who were there during 2014. After 8 long years, our souls can finally rest knowing that our entire childhood, every single last ounce of memory, the original FNAF series, projected to us every positive and terrifying memory. Everything that made the original source material so compelling, hopefully will be done justice in this adaptation. And Scott, if you actually watch this video, words cannot describe how grateful I am that I discovered your games, and how much of a positive impact those games actually brought upon my childhood. Five Nights at Freddy's will always have a special place in my adolescence. I was so desperate to find something that could really scare me, that can really put the fear back in my soul, considering I've grown used to my third eye. Feeling genuine fear actually gives me a sense of dopamine that I so desperately crave. Again, Scott, thank you so much for conceiving the FNAF franchise. You gave a lot of people meaning in their childhood. Enjoy your retirement, and see you on the flip side. Holy shit! Oh, this is bad. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Hey, Freddy, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, God. Please let me live, let me live, let me. Yes! Yes! Oh, sweet, yes! Oh, holy shit! Holy fucking shit! Oh my god, I thought I was dead! Oh!